I'm Sarah.
And we're doing Bickering book reviews. Today we're going to talk about the book Your Welcome Universe by Whitney Gardner, which we received through NetGalley in exchange for an honest review. And this book is about Julia, who is deaf, and at the beginning of the book she's trying to help a friend, and she ends up trying to cover up some graffiti at her school for the deaf, and she gets caught through a series of events, and she gets kicked out, and she has to basically go to a public school in the suburbs. And once she is there, she meets a girl that she calls YP, or Yoga Pants, who kind of tries to befriend her, and she tries to blend in with school, and she tries to get into this art class because that's where she's passionate, and at the same time she is going around town and she's tagging things with her art, and somebody else is coming through and changing it, and she's like, is it a war, are they making it better? And it's kind of about that relationship. And there's a lot that she's dealing with her friend who she works with, who betrayed her, and then there's a boy at work that she has a crush on. And that's basically the gist of the start of it.
Yeah. All right. I think I don't even know where to start. There's so many things to talk about with this.
Well, so hey, first of all, the really cool thing in this book, the reason that I had some issues with it, but the big thing that redeemed it for me is the deaf culture thing. You never see that, and it felt so genuine. And I have to admit, I don't know, so maybe it's not as genuine as it feels.
I mean, it was definitely super interesting. I mean, I have seen it in other books.
I think they did it really well in this one.
I agree. What really interested me was when the main character is talking about how Julia is not in the deaf culture with the little d, but in deaf culture with the big D.
Right.
Like, I thought that was really interesting because I've never heard of that distinction.
I had heard that, but
interesting.
I think it's also interesting. She talks about the cochlear implants, and everybody's like, that's a fix-all, and she talks about why it's not a fix-all, and why she prefers to be without them, and I thought that was cool.
Well, and then the other thing that was really cool is how people get their sign names, and how
that was really
somebody
cool.
Who is deaf has to give it to you. You can't just like pick your own.
Well, and this book she's very diverse without trying, like, in your face. I'm trying to write a diverse book because Julia is Indian, but it's not a book about a girl being Indian. It's just about a book about a girl who happens to be Indian, and I thought that was great because there are Indian kids who want to read a book where they see themselves, where they're not constantly being reminded, oh yes, this book's about Indian people.
Well, and she has two moms.
She has two moms.
So
that's the new thing in YA Lit, though. Everybody has two moms. Like Heather.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that kind of I think plays along those same themes that I thought was really interesting. Julia uses her cell phone to communicate with people.
Right.
Because they don't sign and she can't hear, so she's tapping out her messages on her phones, and so sometimes people will be like, "Get off your phone! Like, look at me and talk to me." And
I like when
she's
she
like,
shames someone. That
yeah,
was funny.
yeah, and then she'll like show them her message on her phone. Like that is, I mean, it's definitely a good check as far as you just automatically assume things about people, and assumptions do not work.
Plus, this is one of the few YA books that really focused on a friendship between girls and didn't have a lot of romance. I mean, there's like a little like crushing and stuff, but there's not like, it's not the focus in any way, and I respected that.
It's not the point of the book, which is interesting, and I like the fact that you can have a book with a girl friendship that doesn't turn into
Something
a relationship or anything beyond that. I mean, though, honestly, and we were talking about this, you could read into it.
Somebody somewhere is going to read into it, and maybe the author wants you to read into it, but I didn't think she did.
I don't know. I mean, you could definitely make a case for it.
Because when I was reading it, I'm like, oh, I can kind of see it, but I don't think that's the point.
Right. I just think that it's nice to kind of have that kind of relationship in YA fiction when you don't see it.
Right. However, I did have some problems with this book. I didn't like Julia.
She was kind of a jerk, but she was kind of cool, but kind of like I wouldn't want to know her in real life.
I feel like she didn't grow that much. I feel like there should have been a story about her growth. I mean, it kind of got there, but I just didn't connect with her. And I mean, obviously, I'm not.
You're right. She didn't grow as much as I would have liked her to, and she was like, she wasn't very nice. I don't know, but she was kind of like a take no prisoners, kind of flip off the world, and I kind of liked that too, though.
Well, and then and I might have been because I read an e-arc, so like the pages didn't line up, so it was kind of hard to see things. But the graffiti didn't necessarily always work for me. There was a couple times when the person came through and added their details to Julia's work that I liked her work before better. I'm like, it took away, it didn't help.
I mean, yeah, but I think that's like personal preference. I really like the graffiti, like, and maybe there were some that I like better than others. Like, I really like the whale.
And I thought the whale was cool, but
That was so cool.
But the one that was based off of the other one, I don't want to go into it because it tells parts of the story, but the other one I wasn't as crazy. I was like,
I mean, yeah, some of it was cool, some of it was like, meh. I really wish that they would have had a better picture of the one in the beginning that kind of sets everything
Right,
off.
yeah,
that would have been cool.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times what Julia would do is she'd take something that was already up and twist it on its head and remix it and make it look better.
Oh, and I did not necessarily like the whole stuff about Banksy. I can never say it right. Banksy. Is that how you say it? Because there was something about the way it was done. I was like, no.
The other thing, artistically though, and different formats, I really like the chapter headings that were emojis.
Yeah,
those
that
were
was
so
cute.
much fun. I love those.
Yes, it's definitely a different book, which is nice. You're not seeing the exact same thing that you've seen over and over.
Right. It's mixed media. It's diversity. It's girl friendships. It's awesome.
It was just hard
liked
for
it
me
that way.
to get into it.
I liked it. Okay, are we ready to rate this?
I'm ready to rate it.
All right, I will start. So our rating system, we have 5 unicorns down to 2 unicorns. If it isn't up to snuff, it doesn't get a horn at all, so it's a horse. I'm rating some books pretty high. I'm gonna give it a 4, I think. I'm gonna give it a 4. I would definitely recommend this book. I do like this book, and I actually might even reread it.
I'm gonna give it a 3. I would recommend it. I respected what they did. I liked parts of it, but the characters just did not in any way grab me. Like, if there was a sequel, I wouldn't read it.
Oh, I would.
I wouldn't revisit the world.
I would. I think it would be cool to see the art in color.
It would be cool. I might have liked it better if the art was in color, but you can't necessarily print like that. So that's where we are on You're Welcome Universe.
All right, so You're Welcome Universe. Adios.
Bye.